Sometimes, what feels like a coincidence is actually divine alignment. You may not see it right away, but the subtle nudges, the inner callings, the sudden changes in your path, all of these are signs that the divine is leading you somewhere meaningful. And in this case, it's guiding you towards something deep, tender, and soul-shaping. True love. Not just any relationship. Not the fleeting, lukewarm kind, but the one that mirrors your spirit, challenges your soul, and elevates your being. True love is not just about romance. It's about divine recognition. It's about a connection that speaks in silences and heals in presence. When the divine steps in, love becomes a calling, not just a craving. That's why it's important to tune in, to pay attention, to believe that the universe is not random, and that your deepest desires were never placed in you by accident. You're yearning for love, for depth, for sacred connection. It's all part of the divine design. If you're here right now, watching this, you are not here by mistake. You were pulled into this message for a reason. Let this be a sign. The divine is leading you to true love. Stay until the very end of this video, and in the comments, share your warmest wishes and write 77 to release energy into the universe. This is how we declare that we are ready. Ready for love, ready for the blessings that follow alignment, and ready to receive what's been prepared for our hearts. You might not realize it, but the path to love often begins in the quiet, unseen spaces of transformation. Before you meet that person, something begins shifting inside of you. The way you love yourself begins to evolve. The things you used to tolerate fall away. You become more clear, more grounded, more honest about what truly matters. That's not random either. That's spiritual preparation. The divine never brings someone into your life just to fill a void. It brings the right one when you're aligned with your truth. Because true love doesn't come to rescue you. It comes to meet you in your wholeness, NNSO. If you're feeling lonely, if you're wondering when your person will come, just know this: sometimes the wait is sacred. Sometimes the pause is divine protection. You're not being denied, you're being refined. The universe is helping you see what you need to see. Maybe it's about boundaries, maybe it's about self-worth, maybe it's about learning to love without clinging. Whatever it is, trust that this season of in-betweenness has a purpose. It's making space for something lasting. And when you're ready, that love will arrive not to complete you, but to complement the fullness you've already claimed. And here's the thing. Love led by the divine doesn't follow a formula. It doesn't always show up the way you expected it to. It might come through a surprising connection. It might feel easy, like coming home. Or it might shake everything you thought you knew about love and force you to grow. But one thing is always true. It brings peace. Even in the intensity, even in the passion, there's an inner calm. Divine love doesn't come with confusion. It comes with clarity. It doesn't ask you to shrink. It calls you to rise. In a world where love is often rushed, filtered, and transactional, divine love moves slowly. It respects time. It doesn't demand. It invites. It doesn't manipulate. It nurtures. And before you ever meet that person, the divine starts preparing your heart to receive them. You start letting go of old attachments. You begin releasing the belief that love must be earned. You step out of patterns that once made you feel small. These are all signs that you're moving towards something sacred, because true love can only exist where there is truth, and your truth is becoming louder than ever. Sometimes the signs are subtle. You keep dreaming of a specific kind of connection. You start seeing repeating numbers or hearing songs that speak to your soul. You bump into people who teach you lessons in love, even if they're temporary. You feel pulled to heal, to forgive, to open. These are not coincidences. They are callings. Every moment, the divine is leading you closer, not just to someone else, but to the version of yourself that is ready to love and be loved fully. It may not always be easy. There are moments you'll feel like giving up. Moments where doubt will whisper that maybe love isn't meant for you. But that's just fear speaking. The truth is, love is already making its way to you. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to perform for it. You just have to align with it. And when your heart is open, when your energy is clear, love finds its way in, almost effortlessly. You are not too much. You are not too late. You have not missed your chance. The divine has a timeline beyond what your mind can grasp. While you worry about timing, the universe is working on alignment. That's the beauty of divine love. It comes when it's meant to, not when you beg for it. And when it does, you'll understand why the wait was necessary. Every delay, every heartbreak, every lesson, it was all leading you here. NNSO, breathe, trust, and begin preparing your heart like it's already on its way. Because it is. Let this message be your confirmation. The divine is leading you to true love. Not the kind that fades, but the kind that remains. Not the kind that wounds, but the kind that heals. The kind that sees you, all of you, and stays. The kind that holds space for your growth, your vulnerability, your power. This love is not a fantasy. It is a promise. One written in your soul long before you even knew what love meant. And you don't need to strive for this. You don't need to force it. You only need to return to yourself again and again. That's where divine love begins. In your willingness to be honest. In your courage to stay soft in a world that has tried to harden you. In your daily decision to believe that something beautiful is still possible, even after all you've been through. NNTHE love that is coming will not require you to abandon yourself. It will feel like expansion, not restriction. It will support your growth, not compete with it. And most of all, it will feel peaceful, because the soul always recognizes what the mind cannot explain. You'll just know. You'll feel safe without walls. You'll feel seen without performing. You'll feel chosen, not for your image, but for your essence. NNTHAT kind of love is worth the wait. And it's coming. Trust the signs. Trust the stillness. Trust the divine. Love is being written into your story right now, and you don't have to write it alone. The pen is in higher hands, and the next chapter is full of wonder. There's something sacred about the way the universe rearranges things when you're on the path to meeting the one. You start feeling drawn to new places, new environments, even new habits. The old you begins to dissolve, not because something was wrong with you, but because the version of you that endured, that waited, that learned, is now making way for the version that's ready to receive. And when that shift happens, you may not even notice it at first. It could be subtle, a gentle pull away from chaos, a deeper craving for stillness, or a newfound desire to protect your peace at all costs. These are not just coincidences. They are invitations to align, because when the divine leads you to love, it always starts within. There may be days when you feel like nothing's happening, like you're stuck, stagnant, or overlooked. But behind the scenes, everything is being reordered. It's not just about meeting someone. It's about becoming someone who knows how to hold love when it comes. That requires preparation, emotional readiness, energetic openness. And sometimes, the greatest act of faith is learning to be content in the waiting, knowing that what's yours will never be withheld, that the timing isn't off, it's being perfected. NNTRUE love doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to alignment. And when you start loving your own soul deeply, When you choose peace over chaos and intention over impulse, you begin attracting people who do the same. Love flows into spaces where peace already lives. If your life is full of noise and emotional debris, the divine will sometimes hold back the right person until you clear the space. That's not punishment. It's divine protection. It's grace. Think about the relationships that didn't work out, the ones that ended unexpectedly, the ones that hurt. They weren't failures. They were teachers. Every person who couldn't stay was a mirror, revealing what you needed to heal, what you outgrew, or what you are still accepting out of fear. Now you're evolving. Now you're seeing the truth. And that truth is what will carry you into the love that was always meant for you. And when that love arrives, it won't feel like fireworks or constant adrenaline. It will feel like peace, like relief, like exhale. Divine love is not performative. It doesn't put you in survival mode. It doesn't keep you guessing. It's grounded. It's steady. It allows you to breathe. And that's why, when you're walking toward this kind of love, the path often gets quieter before it gets louder. The people around you may shift. The distractions may fall away. You may even feel alone, but you're not. You're being held, guided, protected. This is a journey of remembrance. Remembering who you were before you were conditioned to chase, to settle, to doubt. Remembering that love is not something you have to earn. It's something you align with. The right person will not ask you to prove your worth. They will already see it. They will already feel it. Because when love is divine, it recognizes itself. I don't know this person by the way your nervous system relaxes in their presence, by the way your spirit feels affirmed, not controlled. There's no pressure to be perfect. There's no fear of abandonment looming behind every word. Instead, there is ease, curiosity, mutual reverence. Divine love is never about possession. It's about presence. It's about two people who have done their inner work, coming together not to complete one another, but to honor what they've cultivated individually. NNSO, if you've been asking, praying, or wondering when your person will arrive, take a breath. You don't need to find them. You need only to find yourself again and again. Because the more you return to your authentic self, the more visible you become to the one who is meant to see you. That's how divine alignment works. It places you on a path of self-remembering, and in doing so, guides someone else to find you, not because you were looking for each other, but because you were both aligned with truth. And love is not a race. It is a rhythm. And your heart knows the beat. Even if your mind doesn't understand the timing, you're not behind, you're not off course. The divine has been leading you this entire time, through the pain, through the silence, through the growth. And every time you chose healing over retaliation, self-worth over settling, softness over bitterness, you took another step toward love. Let's talk about signs. Because often, the divine speaks through synchronicity. Maybe you keep encountering the same names. Maybe you keep seeing certain dates. Maybe you've dreamed of someone you haven't even met yet. These are not meaningless. The soul knows before the mind catches up. The universe speaks in symbols, in numbers, in intuitive nudges. And when it comes to love, the signs tend to get louder the closer you are to alignment. Don't ignore them. Follow the threads. Trust the unfolding. And remember, not all divine connections begin with fireworks. Sometimes it's a slow burn. Sometimes it's subtle, almost unnoticeable at first. But over time, it reveals itself through depth, consistency, and emotional presence. There's no rush. Real love builds. It doesn't erupt. It evolves. It invites you to stay, to show up, to grow. And it never asks you to lose yourself in the process. NNIF, You've been through heartbreak. Please don't let that define your expectation of what love must be. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are not too late. In fact, it is often those who have loved and lost deeply who are being shaped for something even more beautiful. The scars you carry are not a sign of weakness. They are proof that you were brave enough to open your heart. And that same heart is the one that will recognize the real thing when it comes. NNSO, keep going, keep believing, keep aligning, and above all, keep softening. Because it's easy to close your heart when you've been hurt. But the divine is asking you to stay open, not to everything, but to the right thing. The kind of love that honors your light, respects your boundaries, and stands beside you even in your shadow. NNTHAT love exists. It's on its way. And the path you're on, as uncertain as it may feel, is leading you right to it. The divine is leading you to true love. Trust the timing, trust your growth, and trust the unfolding. When you start to understand that love is spiritual first and emotional second, your entire perspective begins to change. You no longer chase after superficial connections or temporary highs. You no longer measure your worth based on who chooses you or who leaves. Instead, you begin to cultivate something sacred within, a love that is rooted in self-honor and deep knowing. And it is from that soil that divine love blossoms. Because only when you stop trying to fit into someone else's story can you begin to live your own, fully and freely. True love doesn't knock on the door of someone pretending, it finds the one who's finally real. Your story may have had twists and turns that seemed unfair. Maybe you gave your heart to someone who couldn't hold it. Maybe you trusted someone who wasn't ready. Maybe your vulnerability was met with distance instead of closeness. All of these experiences were not wasted. They carved you. They showed you what love is not, so that you'd be able to recognize what love is. They were not detours. They were preparation. The divine doesn't waste pain. It uses it to refine, to awaken, and to redirect you toward what truly resonates with your soul. There will come a time, sooner than you may believe, when everything you went through will make sense. The person who ghosted you, the one who made you doubt yourself, the one you thought was the one, but turned out to be the lesson. All of them were chapters, not the conclusion. The true connection, the divine love that's meant for you, it won't be built on confusion. It will be built on clarity. And you'll feel it, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Your soul will recognize it as something ancient, something destined, something meant. NNBUT. You have to stay open, even when it's hard, even when your instinct is to protect yourself by building walls so high that no one can enter. Divine love can't reach a heart that's been locked away. It reaches the one that's been softened by hope, healed by time, and humbled by surrender. And that kind of heart, your heart, is becoming more ready with each passing day. There's also this truth: divine love rarely comes when you expect it. It often arrives when you're focused on becoming the best version of yourself, when you're not seeking to be completed, but to be in communion, when your joy doesn't depend on someone else showing up, but flows from within. That's when love, real love, begins to find you. Because in that space, you're no longer attracting from a place of lack, you're radiating from a place of wholeness. And don't be surprised if this kind of love feels unfamiliar at first. If you're used to drama, emotional highs and lows, or toxic patterns disguised as passion, then divine love might feel too calm or too kind. But that's only because your nervous system is being rewired. You're learning that love isn't meant to be a battlefield. It's not meant to leave you guessing. It's meant to feel like home. And when it does, your spirit will settle in ways it never has before. NNTHE person coming into your life may not look like your usual type. They might show up when you're in the middle of a life transition. They might appear in a space where you weren't even thinking about love, but they will bring with them a frequency that's undeniable, a feeling of being known, of being seen in a way that's tender, not invasive, encouraging, not overwhelming, present, not possessive. You'll recognize this love by its fruits. It will inspire growth, not control. It will bring peace, not pressure. And it will feel safe enough for you to be your truest self, your silly self, your quiet self, your ambitious self, your vulnerable self. Because divine love isn't intimidated by your fullness. It welcomes it, it celebrates it, and it stands beside it with reverence. And this love may challenge you too, but not in a way that breaks you. It will challenge you to be more honest, to communicate more clearly, to love more gently, to forgive more often, because that's what sacred connection does. It makes us better, not bitter. It shows us what we're capable of when love is rooted in respect and mutual devotion, not games or ego. Some people will say, this kind of love is rare, but it's not rare. It's just that many have stopped believing in it. Many have settled. Many have accepted less because they were tired of waiting. But if you're here, still holding on to the belief that true love exists, that it's coming, that it's written for you, then you are one of the few who are still walking in faith. And that faith is powerful. It draws things in. It creates room for miracles. And you didn't miss your chance. You're not too old, too scarred, too anything. You are exactly where you need to be for what's next. And what's next is love that makes sense on a soul level. Not because it's perfect, but because it's divinely aligned. Because it flows, even when it's imperfect. Because it heals, even when it's uncomfortable. Because it endures, even when tested by NN. You are being guided. Every decision, every step, every moment of solitude, it has all been part of the process. The divine is leading you to true love, even in moments where it doesn't feel obvious. That's the nature of the divine. It moves in quiet power, not loud announcements. But once love arrives, once you see the full picture, you'll understand how everything was moving toward this moment. This isn't a fantasy. It's not wishful thinking. It's a spiritual truth. Love is not just possible for you. It's promised. It's embedded into the blueprint of your soul. You came here to love and be loved. And the universe is aligning people, places, and timing to make sure that happens in the most sacred way. NNSO, keep your heart open. Keep walking in your truth. Keep choosing healing. Because with every choice that honors your spirit, you are taking another step toward the love you've always deserved. One of the most beautiful yet misunderstood truths about love is that it's not always about finding someone. Sometimes it's about becoming someone. Becoming the kind of person who can recognize and hold the kind of love that lasts. That doesn't mean changing who you are to fit an ideal. It means uncovering the layers that were never really you to begin with. The wounds, the doubts, the false beliefs about what you're worthy of. Because divine love isn't something you have to perform for. It meets you when you are most yourself, raw, unfiltered, honest, and open. Many people spend years chasing love without realizing that the love they truly seek requires a different approach. One that doesn't start outside, but within. It's not about the search, it's about the shift. The moment you stop asking, "Where is my person?" and start asking, who am I becoming? That's the moment everything begins to change. The universe doesn't just deliver love randomly, it aligns love with frequency. And when your frequency begins to match the love you desire, it begins to manifest in ways you couldn't have orchestrated on your own. And you may not see the full picture right now. You may still be in the space where love feels distant, where your past casts long shadows, where hope feels fragile. But know this, there is a love being crafted in divine timing just for you. A love that is not rushed or forced, but deeply intentional. A love that sees you, not the version of you that tries to please everyone, but the one who has endured, grown, and dared to believe in something real. NNTHAT love might not arrive when you think you're most ready. It might arrive when you've let go, when you've stopped trying to control the timing, when you've learned to rest in your becoming. Because divine timing works differently. It doesn't operate on your anxiety. It follows the rhythm of your evolution. And when you've done the inner work, when your soul is calm and your heart is clear, love will arrive and it will feel like it's always been there. There's also something very important to understand. Divine love honors your freedom. It doesn't bind you. It doesn't trap you in cycles of uncertainty. It respects your autonomy and encourages your individuality. It doesn't ask you to disappear into the relationship. It asks you to bring all of yourself into it. That's why the person who is meant for you will not feel like pressure. They will feel like permission. Permission to be fully seen, fully expressed, fully alive. And this person will not compete with your growth. They will champion it. They will celebrate your wins, sit with you in your struggles, and walk beside you in your healing. Their presence will feel like an anchor, not a chain. You won't have to convince them of your worth. They will see it without being told, and they won't fear your power. They'll hold space for it. Because divine love is never intimidated by your light. It's drawn to it. And as you move forward on this journey, you may start to notice that your standards are rising. That what once captivated you now feels shallow. That surface-level conversations no longer satisfy you. This is part of the shift. Your soul is preparing for something deeper, richer, more aligned. Don't ignore these inner cues. They are signs that your spirit is expanding, and expansion always precedes divine connection. You may feel the urge to declutter, not just your home, but your energy. To release emotional baggage. To forgive people who will never say sorry. To create space in your heart for something new. This is all part of the preparation. Love isn't just about meeting the right person. It's about making space for them to enter. If you're still holding on to the past, the divine may be gently urging you to let go, not as punishment, but as alignment. And yes, this process can feel lonely at times. It can feel like everyone around you is finding someone while you're still waiting. But remember, the divine is not ignoring you. It's curating something for you. And that takes time. Just like a flower blooms in its season, your love story is unfolding at the pace that your soul requires. Trust that. Rest in that. You are not missing out. You are being held in a sacred pause, a moment between who you were and who you are becoming, between what you once tolerated and what you are now being prepared to receive. And in that space, there is magic, there is clarity, there is deep, deep growth. The kind that prepares you for a love that doesn't need to be chased, because it was always meant to find you. Don't lose faith now. You've come too far. You've released too much. You've healed in ways others may never see. And all of that matters. All of that counts. The divine is leading you to true love. and every step you've taken, even the painful ones, have brought you closer. And when that moment comes, when your eyes meet theirs and your soul whispers, "There you are," you will feel everything shift. The waiting won't matter. The confusion will dissolve. The heartbreak will fade into the background. Because now, you'll be walking in a story that was written long before you even knew to ask for it. A story that's been unfolding behind the scenes while you've been doing the work. A story where your love is not questioned, but cherished. Not hidden, but honored. NNTHAT moment is coming. Keep walking toward it with your head high, your heart open, and your spirit grounded. Love is not far. It's being woven into your path as you read these very words. There's a certain kind of peace that begins to surround you when you start living from the knowing that love is not something you need to fight for. It changes your posture. It softens your anxiety. You begin to understand that the right connection, the one divinely meant for you, is not going to bypass you. It's not going to disappear because of a missed opportunity or a moment of fear. What's meant for you recognizes you, and what recognizes you knows exactly when and how to arrive. And you don't need to question if you're lovable. You don't need to rehearse your value. You don't need to prove that you're worthy of being chosen. The divine never placed love outside of your reach. It's been drawing it closer, step by step, in alignment with your healing. You're not waiting for someone to give you something. You're preparing to share something sacred. Your heart, your energy, your story, they are not just enough. They are radiant. And the person who is meant to walk with you will feel it immediately. Not because you convince them, but because your essence speaks directly to their soul. That's the beauty of divine love. It's not rooted in logic, it's felt on a soul level. It transcends appearances, status, and all the ego-driven checklists. You'll know it not because it looks perfect on paper, but because it resonates in your spirit. You'll feel it in the way they listen, in the way they hold space for your silence, in the way they respect your boundaries without making you feel guilty for having them. That kind of love can't be faked. It's real, it's rare, and it's coming. When divine love is in motion, things align effortlessly, not without effort, but without chaos. The connection grows through mutual energy. You won't have to constantly question their intentions or decode their behavior. They'll show up clearly and consistently. And if you've never experienced that before, it may feel foreign at first, but don't run from it. Lean into it, because ease is not a red flag. It's a sign you're finally being loved the way you deserve to be. This person, they're not coming to fix you, rescue you, or save you. They're coming to walk beside you. They've done their own work too. They've had their own lessons, losses, and awakenings. And now, just like you, they are ready for something that matters. Something rooted. Something sacred. And you'll know them because your energies will feel familiar, as if your souls have already spoken, long before your bodies ever met. And as this unfolds, there may be tests, opportunities to go back to old patterns, to entertain what you've outgrown, to settle for almost instead of waiting for alignment. These are moments of spiritual clarity, moments where your choice will echo your growth, and the divine will always support your decision to honor yourself. That's what love rooted in divinity requires: honesty, discernment, and courage. You might be surprised how your standards have shifted. What once made your heart race may now feel unstable. What once made you feel wanted may now feel invasive. That's because your soul is recognizing what is real and what is not. And when you begin living from that place, from your intuition, not your insecurity, you naturally begin to attract people who are operating from that same truth. You no longer chase love. You no longer settle for potential. You no longer try to squeeze yourself into someone else's mold. Instead, you breathe, you ground, you trust. And in that space, love flows in like a river, steady, nourishing, and alive. There's no need for performance, no need to shrink, no need to beg for attention. Divine love sees you because it's supposed to. Your past may try to whisper otherwise. It may remind you of the times you were overlooked, abandoned, or betrayed. But remember, your past was not the blueprint. It was the preparation. It wasn't showing you what to expect forever. It was showing you what to rise from. And you have. You're rising every single day you choose to stay open. Every time you believe that better is not only possible, it's divinely destined. Let this be your reminder. You are not hard to love. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are on the exact timeline that your soul needs. And love, the real kind, is not on a separate path. It's converging with yours even now. The person meant for you is being led just as you are. They are receiving signs. They are healing wounds. They are stepping into their own fullness. And when the time is right, the crossing will occur, not with force, but with flow. When that day comes, when you meet them, it won't feel like a new beginning. It will feel like a continuation, as if your journeys were parallel lines that were always meant to meet. You won't feel behind. You won't feel like you're catching up. You'll feel like you've come home. NNSO in the meantime. Keep creating space. Keep returning to yourself. Keep choosing joy, even in the waiting. This season is not a punishment. It's a preparation. It's the fertile ground from which something holy will grow. And when it blooms, you'll understand why it took time, why it couldn't have happened before, why it had to be now. Because the love you are meant for is not hurried. It is not hurried because it is whole. And wholeness takes time. But it's worth every second, every lonely night, every tear you shed wondering if you'd ever be truly seen. You will be. You are. And the divine is orchestrating it all in your favor. This is your love story, not the one the world tried to sell you, but the one your soul has always remembered. A story of healing, alignment, and sacred union. The divine is leading you to true love, and every step you've taken has been blessed, even the hard ones. And as you continue walking this path, you may begin to notice that your definition of love is evolving. What once seemed essential, the butterflies, the chemistry, the excitement, now takes a back seat to something deeper. Now, it's the calm presence, the steady energy, the emotional safety that feels magnetic. The kind of love you are being led toward is not here to excite your nervous system. It's here to regulate it, to bring stillness where there used to be chaos, to bring healing where there used to be confusion. This is when you realize divine love doesn't come to take from you, it comes to amplify what's already within you. It doesn't make you lose yourself, it helps you return to yourself. And that's why it often arrives after a period of solitude, of shedding, of clearing. Because the divine waits for the moment when you are most aligned with your own spirit before introducing you to another soul meant to journey with you. NNTHAT journey won't be perfect, but it will be purposeful. You and this person will trigger growth in each other, not by wounding, but by witnessing. You'll mirror one another's light and gently reflect each other's blind spots. The relationship will be a space of sacred accountability, where truth is spoken with kindness and love is expressed through presence, not just words. It's not about avoiding hard moments. It's about knowing that even in the hard, you're on the same team. Divine partnerships are deeply spiritual. You may feel a soul recognition from the very beginning, like you've known them before, even if you just met. Your conversations will carry depth. Your silences will feel comfortable. You may share visions, dreams, or even parallel life experiences. That's not a coincidence. That's alignment. That's the divine creating resonance between two souls so they can evolve together. NNTHE. Love you are being led toward will hold space for every part of you, not just the beautiful, polished parts, but also the tender, unspoken places. You won't be made to feel ashamed for your healing. You won't be rushed out of your process. Instead, you'll be held, loved through it, encouraged without pressure. That's what makes divine love so transformative. It doesn't demand your perfection, it honors your becoming. And while this person may not fix every part of your life, they will make the journey feel less lonely. They'll remind you that you don't have to carry everything alone. They'll support your dreams, protect your heart, and see through the layers that others often miss. They'll notice the little things, the shift in your energy, the tension in your voice, the sparkle in your eye, and they'll care. Not because they have to, but because your soul matters to theirs. This love will not be transactional. It will not be about what you can give or prove. It will be about being seen, being held, being loved, exactly as you are. And in that space, something extraordinary will unfold. You will begin to flourish in ways you never imagined. Not because of the relationship alone, but because you're finally in a space where love is a catalyst for growth, not a cage of conditions. And then, you'll also notice that you love differently in this space. You're not coming from wounds anymore. You're not trying to control or chase or convince. You're simply showing up fully, presently, authentically. And the person in front of you is doing the same. That mutual transparency creates a sacred bond, one that's not easily broken, one that's not swayed by ego or external pressures, one that stays rooted because its foundation is truth. And there will still be challenges, because love doesn't eliminate life's complexities. But this time, you'll face them together, as teammates, not opponents, as soul mirrors, not rivals. You'll talk through the hard things. You'll repair after rupture. You'll choose each other again and again, even when it's inconvenient. That's what makes divine love endure, not the absence of conflict, but the presence of commitment. And if you're wondering whether you'll recognize this kind of love when it arrives, the answer is yes. Not because it will check every box you ever wrote down, but because it will bypass your checklist and speak directly to your soul. It will feel like relief, like resonance, like a familiar melody you forgot you knew. You won't have to question its authenticity. You'll feel it in your spirit. Trust yourself. Trust your journey. Trust the divine timing of it all. The love that is meant for you will not confuse you. It will not breadcrumb you. It will not make you question your worth. It will feel like water to your soul. Nourishing, gentle, essential. NNIF, you're still in the waiting season. Don't see it as a punishment. See it as an act of love. The divine is not withholding anything from you. It's protecting you from what isn't right for you. It's fine-tuning the details. It's guiding both you and your person to the exact moment when your lives can align, not in pieces, but in wholeness. NNTHE alignment isn't just about meeting, it's about readiness. Two people, both whole on their own, coming together not out of need, but out of sacred desire. That's what the divine is weaving for you. And it's closer than you think. NNSO. Don't rush. Don't panic. Don't question your worth, just because the timeline looks different from what you imagined. What's coming will be worth every moment you waited, every tear you cried, every time you chose healing over settling. NNTHE, divine is leading you to true love. Not the kind that burns quickly and leaves ashes, but the kind that holds you steady and sets your soul on fire in the most peaceful way. You were made for this kind of love, and it's being prepared for you right now. And there's a quiet knowing that settles in your heart when you realize that the love you seek is not just possible, it's inevitable. Not because life always goes according to your plan, but because the divine is working on a plan that is greater than anything you could have scripted. You are not forgotten. You are not being overlooked. You are not the exception to the miracle of love. In fact, you are the very reason it's being prepared with such care. NNTHE Universe doesn't make mistakes with the hearts it chooses to guide. If your soul has been craving a sacred connection, if your spirit has longed for a love that's not shallow but eternal, it's because that kind of love already exists in the unseen, and your heart is intuitively feeling its call. You are being led, step by step, choice by choice, breath by breath, into alignment with the love you've always known was possible. It may not have shown up yet in the way you hoped. Maybe there were false starts, hopeful beginnings that turned into endings. Maybe you thought you'd already found the one, only to realize they weren't ready. But none of those experiences were meant to destroy your faith. They were meant to sharpen your discernment, to teach you how to choose with wisdom, to help you feel the difference between infatuation and connection, attention and presence, lust and love. And now, you're different. You're wiser, more whole, less willing to settle for anything that doesn't speak your soul's language. That is a sacred shift. That is growth. That is preparation. Because love that lasts is only possible when both people have chosen to grow, to heal, to elevate. Divine love is not the spark that quickly fades. It's the steady flame that endures through every season. There will come a moment, and it will be unmistakable when everything begins to unfold. Maybe it starts with an unexpected message, a sudden connection, a dream that lingers longer than usual. You won't need to force it. You won't need to figure out every detail. It will feel guided, orchestrated, as if something bigger than you is holding the pieces together. And that's because it is. When you meet this person, you'll notice that they don't just hear your words, they listen to your silences. They don't just admire your light, they hold your shadows with gentleness. There is a sense of safety, not because life becomes easy, but because love no longer feels like a war zone. You'll notice how quickly you begin to unfold, how natural it feels to be fully yourself, how your nervous system settles in their presence. That is your soul recognizing home, NN. This connection won't require constant performance. You won't feel the need to prove your value. You won't feel drained after every conversation. Instead, you'll feel seen, heard, honored. Divine love honors you, your dreams, your voice, your journey. It doesn't ask you to become smaller. It doesn't compete with your calling. It makes room for your wings to expand. And your love will expand too. It won't stay small. It will deepen over time. You'll grow into each other, slowly, beautifully, intentionally. You'll build, not rush. You'll heal together, not harm. And even when challenges arise, you'll return to the sacred foundation you've built. Mutual respect, shared values, spiritual alignment. These are not just romantic ideals. They are spiritual necessities for divine union. This kind of love is rare, but not unreachable. It is waiting for those who are willing to wait for what's real, for those who dare to stay soft, even after heartbreak, for those who refuse to settle for empty promises, for those who believe that true love is not just a feeling, but a frequency, one that your soul is already attuned to. Right now, whether you're in the midst of that union, on the edge of it, or still in preparation, trust that you are exactly where you need to be. There is nothing wrong with your path. There is nothing lacking in your journey. The divine is leading you to true love. And it's not just about finding someone. It's about becoming someone ready to receive what was written for you. Let this be your affirmation. I am open to the love that is meant for me. I trust the timing of my life. I believe that what is aligned with my soul cannot miss me. And I know that the love I seek is seeking me too. Take comfort in this truth. The right person is not behind you. They're not in the past you've already healed from. They are ahead, waiting at the intersection of your becoming. You don't need to chase, you only need to trust. The divine is weaving every thread of your journey with care, and the masterpiece it is creating is a love that reflects not just who you are, but who you've become through the waiting, the growing, and the unwavering belief that real love was never out of reach. You are worthy of a love that feels like peace, a love that holds you without conditions, a love that encourages your freedom and mirrors your strength, a love that doesn't take from you but adds to you in every way. NNTHE Divine is not asking you to be perfect, only present, to keep your heart open, to keep choosing yourself, to keep believing in what your soul already knows. Love is not lost. It's rising. It's closer than ever. It's yours.